It's not that exciting to see, guys. Everybody grows so fast. So when you're young, you naturally get excited. When you're older, oh, what that young mind has in his head, So I don't know what he's thinking. So, oh, I have a strange hairstyle, man. Should I comment on it? I'm just joking. Elijah, do you know where we were last time? No,
let me see. Looks like we were in book
chapter 6. I remember.
6. Yeah, looks like we maybe stopped at 8.
Chapter 6, yes. So we start with 8, am I?
6. Looks like we started at like 6:4.
I think we're at 9 here.
We're at 9? Okay.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, let's look at my translation. That's right. Okay, let's read this. Mine is actually 6-8, so my different order again. So Chinese said, 记事是千子千，为废宰，千子千月。I might pronounce that wrong. 善为我辞言，如有负我者，则吾必在文上矣。Okay, Noah, can you read the translation for us?
Says the Chua family wanted to make Min Suxian the steward of
闵之前 sorry, yeah.
Min Suxian, the steward of Pi. How would you pronounce that? P.
Let me see.
The steward
P is actually called a fee, so I don't know why they did that. So it's a fee, okay?
The steward of fee.
In Chinese, it's called a fee. It's PHI should be, so I think so. Okay. Fee.
Min Suxian said, "Decline the offer for me tactfully. If anyone comes back for me, I shall be on the other side of the river of the riven wind."
So when river wind is a river, basically he escaping from the territory, right? So it's like a nation have boundaries. When those days you have a ruler of the domain that when tell you to do something, had to do it, So, but we have different kingdoms. So when cross wind, I believe is another nation, another kingdom. So this guy said, I don't want to be recruited or standing official for this guy, right? So what he tried to make is making him the head like a governor for a county, whatever, called a fee. Okay, so the understanding everything have a lost historical background to do with the exactly people, the culture that day. So what do you think? Just imagine the guy evidently think this ruler is not good man, right? So he don't want to corrupt himself in a sense, so degrade himself to serve a bad king, a bad ruler. Making sense to you? So Confucius in other place said if a kingdom have a good way, then you can serve it. I mean, if it don't have it good, what have you? Don't be part of the ruling class. Don't be part of the government, right? So that's not everybody have knowledge. Remember his own son-in-law. The son-in-law he chose for his what? For his daughter. Or you remember the story? And the daughter of his brother. This is brother. He tries to invite it, which is a good husband for them. He choose certain ways. So those kind of things sounds very judgmental, or rather, it's kind of a common sense wisdom. would God not require us those wisdom and not? So yeah. So Elijah, comment on this word fact. Somebody want to add with you, actually give you position, but this guy took it off, right? Why he took off?
Is it because he didn't think that he could take the position, or he just didn't want to?
Nope, that's important. Why he took off? As explained, right? So what do you think this guy who want to escape this position is a good person or a bad person?
Well, it wouldn't be a good person because he wants to escape responsibility and like ruling. Is that why he wanted to?
No one. Maybe you can explain better my English for sure in this case, definitely. So.
I think your English was fine because I understood you fine.
Yeah.
It's not the person declining the offer that is in the wrong position. He's declining it because he doesn't agree with the way of the chief family. So he doesn't. It would, in a sense, be dishonorable for him to take up that offer, and so he's trying to, in the right way and in the right order, which I think is alluded to by the word tactfully, decline the offer. So there's a proper order of managing affairs such as this one is being demonstrated here in this particular Analect. That is, I think, an important part of it is what Emmanuel's trying to say.
So what do you think about this applicably? I mean, in life, in a sense.
Well, there's not like a whole lot to glean from in this reasonably short Analect, but I do, because we don't have much, well, at least Elijah and I don't have a lot of background as to like the position of relationships. Of course, you were kind of updating that to us a little bit, but we still don't know too much. But what I do think is interesting about this one is stuff that you have mentioned before, which is the importance of being able to say no to certain things, whether it's something that is enticing or if we know it's just outright not the right thing.
Yes.
There is a very important wisdom in being able to decline just things in life, I guess.
Yeah.
Or circumstances as they come.
Yeah. That's a lost art in things, right? So, yeah. Sometimes elevation or promotion is not a good thing actually for you. I think the Bible speaking about this is better to live in the corner of a poor man's, but the righteous man's tent, than sitting, have enjoy honorable place in a corrupted rich man's household. Why is that? The corrupt rich man seems good, but eventually ruin your life, right? So, in our modern society, we see a lot of people want to go to get famous, get rich, get a life where we're successful. Then they hung around with different people, right? So then eventually their life ended up in very sad notes. The other day is watch this story of some documentary. One thing lead to another. YouTube sometimes pop things together for you. It's basically this beautiful singer, you must heard her, called Whitney Houston, right? Whitney Houston. She grew up as a beautiful singer for the Lord. And even before her died, I think her mother was a very wonderful believer. She still have a heart for the Lord, love the Lord. She really loved the Lord. But ended up, the story, forget about interview, whatever going on, just disclosed. She ended up basically doing drugs, drowned herself in I'm not sure, suicidal, whatever, or accidental. Not all because they were getting very famous, rich, when they were young. She has a beautiful voice, successful career. So the brother was very good friends with her. So brother began to think she chose to marry a successful musician. And everybody think before the interview disclosed, think she's just being misled, run away from the Lord, run away from family traditions, because the husband she married is a beautiful music businessman, in the business. So they saw the husband is the reason for her downfall, Then she signed on the career to become a female star. So the interviewer asked her why she don't think too much of her own talents. Everybody knows that it's a national treasure. That's what it's considered. But there are times that she's literally treated, don't necessarily enjoy or progress with her musical talent at all. She just don't do music anymore. So I also ask her, evidently she has a struggle with drug or other things, personal stuff, evidently. So you got this very wonderful person, seems very smart, intelligent. You can never don't like such a person, right? So, but she associated with a culture. See, she knows it. The mother has to intervene, almost to drag her. Said, if you marry that man, he gonna ruin your life. But she chose to do it. So then certain times things going on so bad because they're doing drugs or things like that, the mother had to show up to intervene, said, I'm gonna drag you away, so because so terrible bad. Now also sad story suddenly according to the way they were interview the mother and the brother together. Because I'm interested in the character, I like her music. The best music singer you can get to my standard. And so then they introduced the brother. They all love her very much, miss her very much. On this occasion, the brother is a very honest person. He said, it's my fault. When he was young, black communities, they have this own cultures, get the money, especially you just tag along, right? So with influence by your friend. Doing drug in those time, in those industry, in those environment, is common thing. Everybody doing it, So it's a party thing. To you guys, it's like an alien world, right? Hope you guys never heard or met anybody actually doing that. I did, so it's ruin your life, so. And when that standard is lowered down, nobody think it's a bad thing. It's okay, it's a playful thing, it's fun to do once in a while. You never know what it ended up with. So here what ended up with. The brother began to do it. They were good friend with the sister. To the sister seeing the book, follow the brother's example, right? Whatever the brother doing, she was going to turn around. So she has a very strong bond. So ended up, this young lady began doing drugs behind the door. And the mother is a godly woman. They were still saying, I guess, for God, doing things, seems on the surface all good. But success and money and the careless management, the young man's life, got this issue going on. And it started, she never overcome it. She got addicted to it. She go to drugs, she stopped doing it. She even openly tell the whole world he struggled with these things, she's going to change, right? She turned back to the Lord, asked the Lord to help her. That's a wonderful lady. You can see the struggle with one thing. So what I'm saying that is sometimes you get hooked up or locked into an environment. I'm not trying to give you that hard time, okay? I'm just saying bad companions, bad environment. If you don't think it's wrong, or you think it's okay, let's try it 20 years later. Worse your life is. For that young lady, there's no reason to ruin her life. But she divorced, walk away from God, continue to battle in the inside whether she's the fault. She knows she's not doing the right thing. She explicitly said she feel God, she need to get right. She want to get it right. Openly in the national TV, so she is such a figure. When she's talking about her struggles, everybody hear it, right? Everybody interested knows. Only later comers, so only later knows. So I was surprised to see the mother, was saddened and were good to the brother, and this is literally a very godly, quiet woman, lady. And she evidently tried her best to try to help the children to stay with the Lord. She stayed with the Lord. She associated with churches, lots of friends around. So my point is, why this young lady can help to ruin her life, in a sense. As Noah said, the word called enticement, right? So, success. Not everybody believes they're doing her favor to make her successful, right? But that success is the real reason that bad habit come in, bad company come in. But more importantly, the real reason she has endorsed, open door to a wrong lifestyle, and in her own heart, where she never really endorsed it. She actually never happy about it. So that's why she retreated when her, all successful, everybody looking to her for her music. She don't think too much about it. Everything think is has the most talents and the gift to the world, but she don't think too much about it. But why she don't think too much about it? Because inside of her, she knows she's a different person, right? And the music doesn't help to solve the struggle of the soul and right in the heart. Only to pray no one. So we're facing such things, and when we're young, we fear facing certain people try to encourage us to go different way, different choices, right? So the mother seems to be very nagging and discouraging elements in my process until 30 years later. Until she tastes the bitterness or the bitter pill of so-called success, right? So, until herself knows she's gonna get life together, So go ahead, pray, please.
Lord, we do pray for the proper measure of discernment in our own hearts, Lord, and we thank you, Father, that you have placed those in our life, Lord, that have that discernment, Lord, that guide and direct us according to, Lord, ways, Lord, that do not lead to darkness and to death, Lord, but to your ways, Lord, which are ways of righteousness and of light. I do ask that we would never, Lord, fall so easily, Lord, into a mindset, Lord, that would take such things for granted, Lord, to see them as, Lord, even a hindrance to what we deem to be success or happiness, or what false, Lord, and misleading ideas those are, Lord, to see only what is directly in front of us, Lord, to be so narrow in our sight of life. And Lord, you have given us so many opportunities, so many chances to, and even examples, Lord, to see the things that such a road or such a path lead to. And Lord, we do not want to face the consequences of that way, Lord, to damage others in walking in that way. Lord, we desire to be completely yours, or to do things according to your will. And so, Lord, I pray that this would be, Lord, a beautiful process that takes place within each one of us as we come to realize and practice these things. I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Unfortunately, teaching the Bible, teaching on this book always talking about the very serious topic, right? So I hope I can have a joke book talk with you about it, or the poem book talk about it. But that's what we choose to do, right? So, do you want to cancel to change another book? It's up to you.
I like this book.
You like it?
Yep.
Good. So let's move on to the next one. 6-9 on my book, Chinese book, is that 伯牛有计，子问之，子又执其手曰：“王之命矣夫！斯人也，而有事迹也；斯人也，而有事迹也。” Okay, read it.
So the name of this little person is Bo
Bornu, yeah. I want the Elijah to read. Is that okay? We change
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Yeah, no, it's okay. Yeah. That's okay. Yeah.
Bo was ill. The master visited him, and holding his hand through the window, said, "We are going to lose him. It must be destiny. Why else would such a man be stricken with such a disease? Why else would such a man be stricken with such a disease?"
So, that's interesting. Bornu evidently is an excellent person, a friend for Confucius. he was very saddened that his life cut short, right? So in front of him. So he commented, it must be destiny. It's interesting, you know. So sometimes with thing life, it's almost like Job, the friend, said, you deserve, you got something, you must have done something wrong, and then God punish you, right? So sometimes, you know, Jesus, the other occasion, said, well, that was not the case, right? In a sense, in Job's situation. The other case is the people asked Jesus, said, there's a tower full and there's few guys died. Are those people sinned? That disaster before on them. And Jesus said, no. So, and that's with their sin. So what is the reason? I mean, God, Jesus basically explained it's their destiny. You know? So now there lies a huge imbalance and challenge for human mind. Through the ages, people, for this very reason, walk away from God, believe in God, because they balance their life with the justice of a human sense, a human consideration, right? So, if somebody has something bad, it must because they done something wrong. If that doesn't apply, a good person died, and all cause have some, you know, disastrous thing happened to them. Remember, their children turned bitter towards God because the father got in an accident and something like that, you know. So they blame God for the death of the father, you know. So things that nature heard multiple occasions like that. So then, you know, when the teaching and common sense, the teaching, understanding from who God, how He dispenses justice, we don't understand the sovereignty, right? We think this life is more important than His internal evaluation of life look like. Basically, we put too much importance on this side of justice, of human justice, than God's internal plan is the final justice, right? Internal justice. So then we have this certain people called into as a thing like this nature happen, calls into a place of lost peace, loss of faith, lost understanding, because they can never figure it out. You see, it's perfect, rather of confusion and frustration. So it's like, why no I have a nose? That's look like different than yours. Actually, you got his nose look like the same, so similar nose. I'm talking, you know, so it's ask that kind of question, you know. So you ask Noah, can you explain to me how you get your nose right? So, I have a pear-shaped nose, my nose ugly. So I mean, I can never live in peace, right? Can I have a good relation with you? You didn't make happen, you know. So if I drag that on, said, oh, God, you're not unjust to me, you know. So given Noah has some nose, I have a bad nose. You must be unjust to me. Can that man happy? No, the dramatize is not more than a nose. Somebody lost a leg. So why Noah come out of the same car accident? His arms not harmed. No, I lost my arms. There's just some mistake. Had I have been a good student, better driver, then no. I don't deserve this. So what I have here is a mindset change. Right? So now in the response here, it's more than an anecdote. The disciple evidently understand the wisdom, the kind of collectedness of the mind of the master in this case is Confucius, right? So, 这种 Confucius, wow, he's saddened, but he didn't struggle with, in the sense, to beat himself up, right? Or blame life, you know, so as if nothing good in this life anymore. Certain people just totally flip the script, right? So, in life. Anyway, let's move on. The point is how you process unhappy things in life. You know, do you come with a better wisdom, or driven by the situations, or by your own senses, you know, by your own standards? Am I making sense to you guys? So, okay, let's look at 10, which yours will be 11. This is the best one. I like this one. This is a whole book. I like this one the best. Okay. The master said, I'm sorry. 子曰：现在回也，一旦是一瓢饮在楼上，人不敢其忧，回也不敢其乐。现在回也。So he gave a praise comment, a common praise. Noah, go ahead.
The master said, "How admirable Hui is."
Hui is his best disciple, right? So remember that? Hui, yeah.
Living in a mean dwelling on a bowl full of rice and a ladle full of water is a hardship most men would find intolerable. But Hui does not allow this to affect his joy. How admirable Hui is.
So in all this, you can see what, in all these anecdotes, what impress Confucius as a righteous life, am I? A godly life, if you will. In our setting, look like. How people carry their life. He's look at this, all this praiseworthy characters or ways, he has window contact with them, observation with them. He praise people because of their character, right? Because the good we handle in life or making good choices, right? So pay honor or give praise to where praise is due. Everything not admirable, not good, Jesus did that, right? This is not smooth talker. He said, you sound a white person. You brought a white person. He's very sharp with the thing. He did great, and that would make him upset. Get out, you thief robbers! You don't turn my house to be a den of robbers or something like that. So he chased him out. Is every man there is a deserve to be rebuked like that? I don't think so. I mean, not everybody is a bad person there, right? In that flock. But what they did was terrible, wrong in his evaluation. You can send to you. So on this word point, on this way, words to have a personal discussion. We can start with Elijah. Elijah, this guy is a best disciple of Confucius, okay? And basically living in a very terrible situation. But he's not bothered by it. And and he was joyful, content, even to a point happy with what he got. So, and this is the same one Confucius said basically, you don't have to teach him twice. He will just learn things about once, right? So, a very good student, So what do you think? Comment.
I think. I mean, Confucius has mentioned Hui many times as his best student and all his great attributes with many things as he is his best student. I think in this particular saying, it's just kind of showing not only another good thing and not only another example of his of the way he is his best student, but also showing a way of life through it. And what I guess the most simple way of seeing what it's being portrayed here is just in life, even with this man, he lived a very maybe low, like a hard position, like low, almost lowly, but was happy for what he had in life, on the things that were very important that he did have. So that made him happy, even though, like it said, he lived in a mean dwelling. He didn't allow it to affect his joy for what he had.
He knows the secret of what a happy life looks like. Right? So
yeah, and it almost in a different way, it kind of correlates to the life and the Lord and stuff. With even,
the Bible taught us to be content, man, with where you are in life, right? So
yeah, to not let other things affect you, because the Lord will keep you and like I was gonna
It's
say
okay.
something. I forgot what I was gonna
It's
say.
okay.
But,
Yeah.
Yeah.
I found it interesting. You guys were talkative, were a good expression when you talk to your friends or others. Even your dad stumbled before me. Well, I don't know how this is. It's a good thing to see, but I don't want you to feel stressed out. Okay, so there are things I'm going to have a very strict opinion about things. When you say some discussion, right? So you don't need to stress yourself out. And but you know what? I remember you have some experiences when you go to Kenya. You see certain people. And I especially video how they live. I remember there was a sister, wonderful sister called Esther. She was so happy with the roof we were able to help her, or some black kids, whatever. She lived in a very poor condition. I remember she was very happy, thankful for the thing we helped her. But she was happy. She was helping people. So always think about others, how to help others. That's an interesting sister. That sister is a lovely sister. She was the first few sister receive visions, receive the baptism of the Holy Spirit, begin to see visions, mighty wonderful visions. I don't quite remember them, but there are multiple ones. So one time, sometime I had to ask God, can you tell me what you try to say or what you try to do? Sometimes God will tell me, okay, ask that sister because I can speak to her, On a few occasions, she will literally hear God speak to her on the thing requested. It's beautiful exchange. So pray for her life for sure. But through those experiences with this kind of reading, what do you gather?
Well, I think the thing pointed at here, like this way of carrying oneself and viewing one's life, is expressed even throughout most of this book, and even in many places in the scriptures when Jesus talks about how one is to process the state of one's life.
Mm-hmm.
And I think is very well, like you're saying, expressed in beautiful souls such as Sister Esther's, in the way she's able to find joy in her own state of life. It's a very, very, very.
You were there. I remember I watched the video your dad and
Yeah.
you and with Moses.
I remember that. If I'm thinking of the right circumstance.
Yeah. I was so impressed by her. She was such a happy widow, man. She had nobody. So,
yeah. I feel like putting my thoughts about this state of mind and heart is like can't fully express it because of how profound a thing it is.
Yeah.
But what I see it as, and the thought that comes to mind, is that such people have no concern, and they don't define the value of the present moment by the past or the future. The value of the present is found in the present. It's not defined by what has happened or what is hoped or expected to happen. It's all just there.
Yes.
And it's so even in line with the thing that my dad was teaching on the other day.
Yes.
About the importance of the now, of God's purpose.
Yeah.
And that the process, in a sense, is how his purpose is expressed and achieved, in a sense.
It is not purposeless. You live in the now. It's actually connected to eternity, right? So,
and it reminded me too of what my grandpa would say too, where he said the journey is the destination.
He did that?
Yeah.
Your grandpa?
The
journey
is a destination.
The journey. Oh, that's my statement many years ago. So, yeah.
He said that when we were going RV.
Seriously?
When we were on the RV trip.
Seriously? That's my statement. He must steal from me. Stolen from me, man.
I don't know.
No, absolutely. I said I'm back in Austin. So, so journey is the destination. I wrote that in the article because waging the journey. Remember that?
But when this,
I'm joking.
Like
I'm teasing guys.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. Yeah. No.
I almost want to call this way of thinking like a golden mindset, because it's like the
secret happiness, right?
Yeah, it's like the apex of true balance in life.
Yes.
Because if one truly achieves this way of processing life, then in a fundamental level, there is no unhappiness. There's no worry.
Yes.
There's,
Yes.
I mean, you still, in a very holistic way, experience
Sure. Yeah.
emotions of, say,
Yeah.
sadness or anger or something. But,
Yeah.
like those
Yeah.
come so naturally in a sense.
So naturally.
Everything has purpose according to the present moment. Because
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
you don't define things from the
Is that
past,
making sense here? What she said? Do you
Yeah.
apply that? How you apply it? That's the key, right? To understand the truth, different than you
Yeah.
able to apply it, right? So, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Today you didn't have shoes, especially not these are shoes. Are you happy about your mom? I'm joking. Not really. So, Mom, why can't I have an audition shoe? I think it's Nike. At least it's Nike. Well, you get there, right? So, someday you will say, well, do you need a pair of shoes? Here's another pair of shoes. I can take your shoes, people say. You're barefooted, you need the shoes. Oh, no, don't worry about it. I can have another pair tomorrow. Can you do that? Well, I see a lot of people do that, actually. Took off the pair of shoes, give it to others. We'll get barefooted. So, that's more than just generous, right? So, yeah. I mean, it's a shoe, actually, so. Yeah. Sometimes give people, with what you have to sustain on, because you have a better way to handle life. You don't worry about it. So. Can you do that? Oftentimes, people help with others is when I extra, right? My life take care of them, I help others. There's other way to handle things, or other situation demand you handle things differently, or reveal how you handle things. How to learn not be self-centered is to be, well, the world don't surround you. There's needs all around you. You can't feed every bill, but at least the one give to you, like something stirring your heart and mind, so clicked. Said, well, that's something I can help to become a selfless person, And, well, interesting enough, you continue to think like that. You don't worry about yourself that much. And then when you don't worry about yourself so much, you look at the world, relation differently. Making sense to you? Yeah. Want to hear another story? Parable. Talking to Lolly actually about this is recently I said, life is like a river, right? So, and what do? God give to you is give you a boat to flow down the river, right? So, which is your senses, your soul, your thinking, right? So, your approach of life. Then somebody said, I just want to go to the north. I don't want to go to the east. The river flows to the east. Is it going to happen with life? His whole life is going to be unhappy, right? He said, well, he might dig channel, make the river flow to the east from a certain time, through the north certain ways. Oh, good, I will come heaven, so the river didn't define my life, so I did it my way. And the river bound back, so continue to flow to the east. Certain people do that, right? So that means there are people admire those people. Mao Zedong was such a guy. Mao Zedong is Chinese ruler, communist ruler. Hitler is such a guy, right? So many others. And then there are people, they said, okay, I'll flow with the east, but you know what? I'm not so sure. There's a panic, They'll try everything. Never stop, try. Maybe it's not east, maybe it's not, maybe not the west. Maybe tomorrow is east, tomorrow is west, tomorrow is north, so and let me try. All the time, they're paddling their boat. And in the flow of the river, and the river carried them anyway. They're getting nowhere, the flow of the river. But they never stop trying. They never stop trying to get somewhere rather than being there. And rest. and go with the flow. How many people is doing their life like that? No. Let's give assessment the population encountered. How many people try to get somewhere, thinking they're getting somewhere, where life carries them actually in different, undetected but should know, right? So, should be detected, carry them in a way. When you would think it's crazy, well, you're young, right? You're how old are you, Elijah? 15, okay. When you were 13 years old, Noah began to drive, or they know someday you're going to be a driver. Do you understand my point? So, what are you thinking those days? What kind of drive? Why when I can get older and get able to drive like Noah does? Well, that's you thinking. But have you thinking about Noah? Where's the drive book for this? Let me read it. Can I drive with you? Show me a little bit of tricks, So what have you? You have equal opportunity, the equally now. But your desire, your assessment of what you have, and then how you engage, a different story, right? So, Elijah, this hour, when I'm young, 20, let's say 20, okay. If I saw Noah doing that, I will not jump ahead and say, when I'm gonna have a car, or when I'm gonna grow up, be a driver, I'm literally gonna do it at 20, okay? 20 learns good enough. I said, Noah, can you share your book with me? Can you show me the engine? I'm 20 years old. I was senseless while I was 15, I told you, right? So, 20-year-old, I understand I can take advantage of the opportunity afforded me and to grab, not to be outlandishly unrestful, ambitious, and I just something give to you, you learn from it, right? You take advantage of what you opinion you have, so. Yeah, that's why I become friends with professors because they have something to offer. I really just didn't know, so that's what showed me, One thing led to another, we become friends. Oh, anecdotes, okay, so the other day I was talking to John because somebody served, in a good restaurant, served a Qingdao beer. I got a Qingdao beer. Sit down with the grandparents, and said the story. I said, that don't know how to pronounce that beer name. I said, Qingdao, city. So that's where I came from. The God is the best beer. I brag a little bit, taking jokes. Suddenly I share, remind him something. A story is reminds. What? I almost work in their accounting department because their CFO used to be one teach me accounting. Where I started learning, go to work, I know nothing about accounting, so I failed his test. So the first time, failed his test. I never learned accounting. The only test I failed in my whole career of university is his test. So my other professor is good buddy his, is a good friend of mine. By this time, we are literally consider friends. So he had to give him a call. So. He heard my story. Oh, they're gonna test you in 2 weeks? No, I'm gonna give him a call to make you pass. So, did he do me a favor? Call my teacher, accountant, give me a pass. Literally, I didn't take the test and give me a pass. Sorry. So, well, you think that's a favor? Well, when I go to accounting, I know nothing about accounting. God, it's just, So I was working in accounting, suddenly, have a little bit of management job. I don't quite remember when he offered me. He was hired to be the CFO of this big beer company, not almost one of the best beer makers in China. So he became a CFO. And he talked about, again, my professor said, you better check him out because I heard he's doing accounting. You want him to be on your team, So because he don't give me some invitation. Tried to let me on his team, so I didn't do it. So, the story that why thing that nature happened? Why is this professor, my former professor, I feel miserable his test. Am I? I mean, it's dishonor to him, literally. If it's good sense, I never fail any test. I'm a excellent student in any other subject, So, and he didn't take offense. He able to give me a go, right? So, I mean, that's personal favor for sure, but he didn't take it personally. He said that students really is a bad students, So, rather he said, okay, I understand, the situation. I give him a pass, So he did me a favor. And then, if a person carry away that situation, if I don't have a good background engagement with other people around his life, would he even thinking a possibility of sending me an invitation to be part of his team? No, would you do that? So why he think it's okay for a student's miserable pass, fail the test, still can be trusted? He knows I don't know nothing about accounting, So he be trusted or recruited as his inner team. He take a business, he carry his own people. That's major helper for him. Why he think we don't know each other, except from that occasion? Said, well, I will trust my friend's assessment. This young man, I will just have him on board. Sure, he have need, but he have a lot of students. Am I? Professor every year have students. Am I? Professor every year have 100 students taught him, right? So he's there for decades. So, do we have another students or not to recruit? For sure he has. So why he wanted to recruit me? Interesting story, huh? When you're young, you don't think too much about it. When you get older, you understand life, you understand the whole relationship, you begin to think about it, right? So there must be something I did right. More than just go beyond merely have a friendship with the other professor, but I build a reputation in the school, in the university. The teacher don't look at my academic process to evaluate my life anymore, right? So they go beyond that. So that's what Confucius did in his evaluation of others' life. He didn't look at the moment. He didn't look at certain non-essentials or even stumbles. He looked at a person, how he carried himself, how he used the thing he already had. I mean, that's how you assess people, right? So Elijah, this way looking at the people or engage people is the wrong one or the wise one. This assessment here. Just talking, right? So yeah. So whether you carry life goes on where you need to go, don't strive, rest, content. That's on the personal level. On the other side, Confucius is able to appreciate the students. Am I? Didn't use externals, other things to judge the student. He just look at the student. He literally have a settled way to let the life carry him, am I? Let wisdom carry him. He said, Mom, that's wonderful. That's the best student I get. Not others, am I? General. He has a general students, high official, best, richest person in China than students, Smart diplomats, as a student, So himself is a primer. So he's not impressed by those external achievements. He's very impressed by this young man with Yan Hui. So how he carries life, right? So very different standard. Anyway, I think that's very valuable. That's why I like this one. So it shows the teacher's mind, it shows the student's mind, and there's something clicked, there's togetherness. The word respecting and appreciating others in such a way is really, as you said, a word is not good enough to express it, right? There's appreciation there. Has nothing to do with what we do. It's everything to do with just enjoy wisdom and enjoy a way of life. So let's look at the next one. 6:11。言求曰：“非不说之之道，力不足也。”子曰：“力不足者，中道而肥，今与化。” Whose term is this time? Okay, go ahead. Okay.
Jen, how do you pronounce that?
言求啊，言求，
said, "It is not that I am not pleased with your way, but rather that my strength gives out." The master said, "A man whose strength gives out collapses along the course. In your case, you set the limits beforehand."
Comment.
It kind of seems like the person who said that his strength will give out, it seems like he set those limits on himself before he even knew how far he could go.
Yes. Give me a life example.
Like,
others or yourself, whatever.
say, a really simple situation would just be, you look at a heavy box and you think to yourself, well, I can't carry that, but you haven't even tried to carry it yet.
Yeah.
But then
you just give up. Yeah.
Then you just give up before you even try.
That's
before you even know what you can
very
do.
good one. That's very good one. Noah?
I think a more serious example where you have someone that comes to, I guess, someone that's advocating, say, a different way of life. Say someone that wants to even join our group and saying that this is like another fellowship community that I can be a part of.
I like that one.
And we say,
okay.
well, it's not that simple. And in the sense that, say, you have this expectation that it's going to meet with your standards of your own life. And coming along to this this group and the culture that we're trying to build.
Yeah.
And then in participating in it for a while, you realize that it's not what you
think,
what you thought would align with your own standards for what makes you happy or what you see as fulfilling.
Yeah.
And in a sense, your strength gives out to.
You lost heart.
Yeah, you lost the heart
lost
of engage in this community.
Yeah.
Because from the very beginning, you set.
That's
limits.
interesting. That's a struggle Dad and the Lolly recently expressed to me.
Oh,
yeah, I'm joking, but I don't think they might talk about it, So we're open. But that's their struggle, Their whole heart has been about loving guys, helping guys, sacrifice our life for you guys, But they don't recognize God said you guys as a different generation has a greater purpose and really have a happy family life, happy.
So in that sense, they don't even realize they carried those limits with themselves from the very beginning.
Exactly, but the struggle is along the way. Not that we didn't talk about it, not that God did not really narrow them down for them.
Sure.
But it's okay, So, but they don't necessarily recognize this required. Well, you're young. You guys are young. It's okay, So when your parents are still young parents, are okay. But then suddenly you guys grow older. Your parents begin to more. Well, we need to be serious with the family, with young people, future values of life. So things begin to come to a head in a sense, and need to be sorted out. So it's sorting out. That's bless the Lord. So. I like what your analogy is there. So another one, think about yourself if possible. You guys like this kind of teaching? This way kind of engagement? Yeah, okay, good. Yeah.
Well, I think, very practically speaking, that there is something even both spiritually, mentally, and even psychologically true about, in a sense, I think it's called a self-fulfilling prophecy. That's what people call
Oh, that's really good one. Oh, I like that
Yeah.
one.
So you set standards for yourself.
Yeah.
Because once again, we're going back to the subject we were covering in the previous few, where
Can I say something
Yeah.
before you move on? This is purely casual, but I don't think it's casual. I want you to do something, okay, to practice it. When you talk to people, you learn from somebody. Don't refuse eye contact. It's not bad per se.
Yeah.
It's just you don't need to be shy.
yeah,
Don't be so self-conscious. Why? It's important.
eye contact is important for a lot of different reasons. It's engaging.
Yeah.
It kind of
There's
sets the-
nothing about get to know each other and
Yeah.
engage us, appreciate one another. Whether you don't, just when you look around, it's more than distracting, but your mind is not really interested in making one communication. And communication most of the time is not words, or it's through you look,
Yeah.
called the body language, am I right? Facial language, eye language. I can rebuke a person and say, I'm not happy with you. But my eyes smiling. And the guy called absolutely, God, absolutely, the idea that I'm not happy with him, but I'm smiling. So I'm intended for the relation to be maintained, right? So think the result, right? I'm all hard for it. If you learn the lesson to the audio, that's what someone said. Oh man, that what a blew up. The other way is, I really love you. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. What's wrong? Tell me what's wrong.
Doesn't seem very genuine when you.
But it's certainly not genuine. That problem is
Yeah.
not your intent. That man going to argue all day long. All his life was said, I did not nothing wrong. I said the right thing. I made the proper communication. And the person encounters that encounter, he tell everybody, the whole world. He can even read the Lord. But the person knows the difference. Well, I can't really explain, but I don't think so. Then somebody said, I don't like you, I don't appreciate you, I'm so upset with you. Still looking wrong. He's not walking away, He's looking how you respond, So, he's not really upset with you, just, want to engage things to work things out, So, you still think the relationship beneficial, workable, right? So, okay. So, he's looking bad at you. I really want to work with you, and walk out the door. Sounds good, but you're not really interested in, right? So, my point is that why is it important? We don't necessarily understand how the spirit works, how the perception works. Why you sit there? Not compel you. When you're young, you sit here, man. Why? It's because certain self-awareness, self-consciousness. I don't take that personally, okay? It's not about us. It's about you yourself, how you carry yourself. You allow other things to define how you see to yourself, how you should see to yourself. One city in between Elijah. Well, for me, that's very clear. Your brother relationship, there's something not always click. Making sense here? Live on the same roof, living in the same room. You gotta have some bumps in your head, one house in distance. That's okay. I understand that. But when you're getting serious with relationships, I know you act differently, right? So, either got a year or accident, you're the first man showed up, right? So, brush every side. Let me do something. or he got in trouble, somebody going to argue with him or do damage to him, whatever. So he said, no, don't cross my brother. So I'm not going to encourage you to fight for him. Okay, I'm saying you can't help him, right? So now here's the deal: if you're a wise brother and an open brother, you guys will sit together, right?
I think that is a very good point too. I think it's even has more of a general application as well, because when I take that very seriously and think of like just the example of seating position.
Yeah, maybe he can do that. It doesn't
No.
matter. I'm just talking. I'm not talking to
No.
criticize you guys. Okay, I'm just saying certain things you can see things through general situations. Yes,
there's a very cultural aspect of it too, because if my dad was sitting there, or my mom, or my sister,
you will sit in
on the side. It's almost like a respectful American thing. I don't know.
There you go.
But that it's still the same application, because it's still if it's a cultural thing, doesn't mean it's not still a relational thing too.
No, it's good. I understand that. If I understand, agree with that, I think Noah is doing wonderful. So I praise you. But that need to express, right? So need in the conventional thinking that everybody know, right?
Yeah, and just because it's a cultural thing doesn't mean it's the right thing.
It's not everybody know about it. So we don't necessarily know why you do that, right? So I can read differently, right? So then you shine your eye from me what I think. I'm joking with you. Okay, give you.
I thought about that too.
I'm just saying, give you a understanding how to develop a healthy relationship, right?
Right.
Yeah,
I noticed that even in my own household, we actually tend, everyone in our house,
retreat, right?
We usually don't talk to each other by looking each other's
eyes,
be it towards parents or siblings or anything.
Yeah,
everybody doesn't really look at each other's eyes.
You look this phenomenon, but your parents don't do that at all.
They do it with us.
They do?
Maybe not with others, but it's a whole family thing. Even my parents do it to each other.
Is that right?
You don't look at the person in the eye when you're talking to him.
Then that's your dad's problem. You need to change.
I don't know. A weird.
Your dad never did that to me.
That doesn't surprise. I don't do it.
Yeah.
I mean, when I'm listening to
you when we together.
I have a problem of, like you were saying, looking off when I'm talking. Cause it's kind of a absent-minded thing to do.
It's okay. I'm just talking. I'm teasing you guys.
And I'm in fact not disagreeing with you at all. I actually think it would be a very good thing to, even our own family, to practice eye contact.
Practice eye contact, because it's more than a problem with respect. It's an effective communication. You will find yourself when you do that, your mind begins to change. Your engagement change. Suddenly change. Something click changed. When I want to listen to somebody, I will stick his eye for 2 hours, 5 hours, never move. I mean, not because I try to do it. It's because what they share is interesting to me. Even if it's not interesting to me, I'll drift away. But I still make sure I'm listening. I try. I'm sorry, I miss about it. I will try to let the people not upset with me when I miss it. I really understand that. But you know what? That's why I stayed up as a good student. Because every professor, when they look around, everybody doing their own thing, they will say me, my mind is minding somewhere else to do this. And they don't get upset with me because I have some eye contact with them. Some beautiful ones, let's say. When I drift away, do you understand? I sometimes in the class. The teacher will call everybody out. And nobody bothers me. Why? Because I build a relationship, you see. And everybody knows I have a unique relation with the professors. Everybody knows. And I was, I remember I was homeless. Is that okay for teaching someone about life stories a little bit? We go beyond pictures. When I was homeless, So I homeless, I feel so ashamed, so disoriented. I don't know English very well. So a rough character, sometimes they speak Spanish and no idea what they're talking about. or they speak so fast, stuff like that. I don't know English very well, so I don't understand what they're talking about. But after a while, interesting phenomena began to take place. And people just begin to hang around with me, certain ones, follow me around. Oh, I don't want them to follow me around. So most of the time I'm by myself, but their friends follow around. They always want the passivity. I'm a stranger. I'm an only Chinese guy in that whole circle, so there's no reason for them to like me or don't like me per se. I don't talk back to them, either. I'm ashamed, so I do this. My mind is always on the ground, on my feet. Don't try to bother people. But even I don't bother people, I respect people, you see. When they need help, I would try to help. Even when they want me to be excluded or something, I would walk away. I will not meddle. I just mind my own business. So try to be helpful. If somebody, elders, whatever, people have difficulties. So instantly, they look at a guy carry himself absolutely different than the flock. Homeless flock can be very sensitive. So they were rough characters. So most time they're foolish, actually, acting out in a foolish way. I don't do that. That's my point. It's instantly set out for people. But most importantly, when somebody in charge of the situation, they're supervisors of mine, but I always try to listen. I try to listen what they say. I try to ask them questions. What is a good time to do? When should I get indoor? It's okay for me to sleep here a little bit. Stuff like that. I don't need to talk. I just can I do my face and my facial. Can I do that? Okay, so I made eye contact with them. I'm just talking with them with my body language, right? Making sense to you? Sometimes, you can do that and know where you're going, right? So, I don't, I like that, so, that's my point. Finally, I found myself it's interesting. They have a long line waiting for bed or food. When I showed up, everybody began to show, oh, here's a place for you. Come from me. So they allowed me to come in all the time. Sometimes even the one give the ticket said, you gotta go ahead, give him the news. Put me before everybody else. I didn't do anything. I didn't ask people to do it for me. And newcomers, some other comers will get upset. Well, nobody get into the line. They fight for it. Literally fight for it. And then they do this to me. And nobody argue. When others begin to say, that's you supposed to do that, everybody rise up and say, shut up. I didn't do anything, Sometimes it's, oh no, maybe let me go back, They will drag me, insist me to get into the all the time. I didn't ask. I didn't do anything. That's just being appreciated. And I remember those days. There was one who in charge of this lining. He was so kind to me. He said, well, if you don't want to get in the line, just let me know. I'm gonna give a ticket for you. He did that many times. When I don't miss something, he will look for me. He will literally give me a ticket. And that's my point. So he literally reserved a ticket. When I don't show up, so he will reserve a ticket for me. You don't tell people every day your activities. There's a bunch of people there. So he will always reserve a ticket for me. On one occasion, you will think that is, oh, okay. So he always do that. So, he talked to me multiple times, urged me to say, don't get in the line, I'm going to take care of you, so your bed is I take care of you. I don't want to do that, I want to take on this solution. But here's the deal. How that happened, it was a mystery to me, right? You see, I was homeless. I don't want to talk. I don't have a lot to talk. I don't want to group with people. So how that happened? On this particular guy occasion, okay, so we had to let go of the job and somebody else take over, right? So another young man take over. Interesting, huh? So he dragged me, said, can you go with me? I said, what's going on? He said, oh, I'm going to leave the job. I don't have to do that. I'm going to introduce you to the new guy take over my job. Really? A lot of people, I don't really good friend to him, we don't talk, except on those occasions, right? So, okay. Went to his job. And while I talk to this young man, he's standing behind the window, we were talking, introduced me. This is my friend, take care of him, okay? You don't take care of him, I'm going to get trouble with me. That's okay. While we talking, I said, wow, that's awkward. So, I don't know the new guy, so I don't want to sounds have a special, demand or anything. While talking, he's just thinking, okay, he's just making, do somebody a favor. So here's the chatting, the guy turned around and said, make sure, I just, let him take care of you. Don't be bothered asking him to help. He said, why you talking to me? Okay, I don't know anybody, so I thought I'm going to, okay. And he began to cry. I mean, big man, began to cry. So two of us, the guy behind the window and I look at each other. Oh, those days I don't know how to carry myself, I don't know how to do American relationship, should I say it? So the guy said, he compelled the other guy have totally different response now, had to repeat his commitment. He said, okay, you don't worry about it, I got it. So, I will make sure I gotta take care of your friend, so, I really will take care of, Again, he come to several occasions and said, what do you need? Tell me, So, no, I don't really need anything, So, you understand my point. It's crazy. Now, Elijah, why I share this story with you? The power of invisible communication. Not in the mind, not in what you think, but you carry yourself in a certain way. You create a culture. Am I making sense to you? So you care about people or not. You're interested in people or not. When I was young, through life almost, after short engagement, I was able to talk to the people who was in charge of the matter, interested in the matter, to just suddenly in the loop with what discussing. I'm not talking smart, okay, street smart. I'm talking about this common sense for life, okay, common wisdom of life. You look at Jesus, or look at Peter or Paul, or in this case, Confucius maybe, right? So, do you think people exclude them, said that their opinion doesn't matter, I don't want you to be part of things, or their opinion really set out and everybody wants them to give a judgment, right? Even the ruler of a nation come to him and said, what do you think? What do you think all the time? So they're not anybody. They don't have an army. They don't have a power. So why people do that to them? You like the query, a question? The way they carry themselves, right? Answer for you. The way how they carry themselves. Huh? Interesting, huh? The way how they carry themselves. Let me raise up your hand and pray.
Yes, Lord, I pray that you would, Lord, impart these teachings, Lord, these, Lord, ways of life, Lord, to our life. Lord, that the way we carry ourselves, Lord, would be not only presenting the right culture, Lord, but also presenting a culture, Lord, that pleases you, Lord. I pray that, as Emmanuel said, Lord, our invisible communication, Lord, would be one that honors you. And Lord, I pray that we would each one work on our own in that way, Lord, that we would better it, Lord, and we would practice it. Just, Lord, I pray that you bless it in Jesus' name.
In Jesus' name, thank you. No, I want to hold their hand to pray. So you can speak in tongues. A song of God is like a song. It shines in every direction. Sometimes we self-conscious too much, self-engrossed too much. Just look at the sky, okay? Look at the trees. Look at the world around you. Apply the same appreciation and openness to relationships, to everybody around you. There's nothing to fear about. You go to an animal farm, you look at every animal, say, hey, how can I interact with that animal? I'm not belittling people, okay? I'm just talking about you won't engage. You sure don't want to get close to a tiger, but if it's a little lamb, or even a horse, you want to say, oh, okay. I want to make sure that lamb look at me, and the tiger, I look at him, I'm not afraid of you. If animal have a sensibility to respond, I will approach to them. Are we a friend or guard, or we're not freedom? What about human beings? Human beings have a more intricate, intuitive, right? Intuition, reacting things. We don't take advantage of people. We don't manure people. But I am who I am, and respect who you are, and I can handle this relationship in open mind, without worry, right? So, amen, hallelujah. At least don't get carried away too much about something we don't see, right? So, go ahead, pray a little bit. Actually, I want you to close your eyes, see if you see a vision. So why Confucius was able to comment, and people pay attention to his comments about others? Why he's able to do that? Why is Jesus able to do that among his disciples? It's not upset with him. Why the king can do that, and his subjects or the people associated, not upset with him? I mean, you would think that's a trickery. Why leadership in any setting? That people said a good leader, they're able to engage people in different levels, different contexts, and people don't get upset, rather love the leader, cherish the leader, thankful for the leader. Something going on there. How it started. It's not going to start with dead books. It has started when your father said, now let me teach you how to carry yourself, this and that. You practice from daily things. Awareness. Look at the people said, I care about you. I want to have a relation with you. Simple, am I? So, no, I'm making sense here? Yeah, simple. Oh, I'm not so interested. I have something to do. Let people know, but don't let me carry away. Said, really, I don't want to have a relation with you. I'm out of it. So leave me alone. Hold up your hand, pray now. So. What do you see, actually? Okay.
It's kind of strange. I just saw almost looked like a giant fan. So the kind of thing that obviously creates air and noise and stuff, but it was really large, and the thing that spins within it. So the blades, I guess, were actually almost like very, very large planks of wood or something like that.
Okay.
And what I saw, I think it was less of like the material that mattered and the pattern I saw within this fan, if you could call it that, was and the very front blade, because there were multiple blades, I think almost infinite, that went back actually. The first blade was spinning at a very slow speed, and then the blade behind that was spinning like twice as fast. And so it went successively like that, so where it got faster and faster and faster until like it was becoming infinitely fast. And I really don't know what that points to, but I think it was the pattern that had some significance, but I don't know exactly
That's
what the
crazy,
meaning is.
huh? That's strange reason, yeah. I try to figure out as well. So,
Yeah.
Huh. What do you think? When you close your eyes, see what you think.
I actually saw a vision.
Oh, well, there it goes. Well, that's
I don't know if
easier.
mine's going to be any more
Meaningful.
understandable because
Okay, understandable.
it's
Sorry.
probably the most simple vision I've ever had.
Oh, wow.
It's
Okay.
literally, it was just
Maybe you can interpret it. Your vision will interpret his vision. That's-
literally the only thing I saw was blackness, and then all of a sudden, only half of it turned to light, and then it switched between darkness and light on top and bottom. It's
so
really
it's
interesting.
one switch or continuous switch?
It just continued to. So the light would be bottom, dark on top.
The continuous
light on
switch.
top, dark on bottom. It's really weird.
Huh.
That's what I saw.
That requires special coding, decoding. Sorry. What do you think, Noah?
I don't know.
That means something to you guys. I don't know what. I'm just casually talking, you know. My flow of the spirit is so free. I know God getting somewhere. I just don't know sometimes. Do you understand my point? You know, I mean, just like every day you receive so much information from the Lord. None of that is bad. It's just endless education. It's everything making sense, you know? Click. It's like effortless. I don't try to make it, okay? It sounds like it, but of the abundance of God, you flew out. So sometimes you just don't know what's the things really going on. So you only can detect certain things. It's okay. God, can I address it or should I address it? Okay, you know. Suddenly the door opens itself. So. Hold up your hand and pray. All of you. Pray. Pray to be a prince, huh? A prince care about people. That's the first standard. You have all wisdom, all good intent, but you don't engage with people in a productive way, effective way. Yeah, nothing to do with eloquency or good behaviors, you know. So, I mean, sometimes the most loving person, most affectionate people actually don't see a word come to you, give you a big hug, you know, so squeeze you, tease you, give you a hard time. Something you feel so okay, you know. But he walk away and walk away, you feel your world change, cheered up. You know, sometimes child do that is melt your heart, you know. So he actually making trouble for you. They got your attention, right? You know why he do that? Because he care about you. He want to have a relationship with you. You know, so, and okay. There you go. On the child, I don't interest into you. I withdraw. You know, so you have to chase me around. Like, okay, I interested to talk to me. Not really. So, well, there's education that is not necessarily unimportant education. It's actually a very substantial education. Do you understand my point? You know, so it's a powerful education. One of the most liberating education. Why? Because while you're doing that, the mind changes, the environment, your perception changes, your priority changes. Your way engaging thing changes. Your way perceiving things changes. Relationship changes. You think things differently. how you cannot be self-centered? You have to care about the people around you. Then you cannot be self-centered. You can just say, I'm not self-centered. I think about this. Well, when people look at your reaction to them or the way you engage with them, well, you're pretty self-centered because nobody knows you. The things that are around, I don't see you there. We withdraw all the time. Well, that's pretty much self-centered to me. It's a self-centeredness is not the princely wisdom, princely practice of life. Making sense, you know what? Yeah, I want you to pray now.
Lord, as we pray for the initiative within our own hearts to, Lord, engage in a different way, Lord, from a different level, Lord, to have a new posture of the heart, Lord, and concerning relationships around us, Lord, to be able, Lord, to truly practice and engage with others in, Lord, a selfless way, Lord, a way that does not always refer back to or reflect from oneself. And Lord, always worry about how one comes across, Lord, to another according to one's own, Lord, standards of what is acceptable or, Lord, likable, or any such shallow way of thinking. Lord, but to truly have and, Lord, act according to a genuine interest and care and even love for another life. And Lord, indeed, these are just words, Lord, but I pray that it would be action and practice in my life, Lord, and in the lives of those who desire to walk and function in this way and from this way. So I pray this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Let's wrap up there from next time. So you guys are doing pretty good. Even I don't understand the fan story at all.
Me either.
That's interesting. Wow.
For the second vision, you don't understand that one either.
So I want to flip back and forth. No, I don't understand. I think it's a mind thing, you know?
Yeah.
You can flip a switch, think about things differently, right? So
Yeah.
that's how I perceive it. It's very easy to switch, right? So yeah, it's very easy to switch. You can see that in child sometimes just swing the wrong world. It's like suddenly all they swing just snack it off it and I want to be part of that conversation. I want to be part of that game, you know. So and then they change, you know. So adults don't do that, right? They make it that very hard, you know, so as if it's something they have to maintain a character, the image. You know? Sometimes they need it, you know, certain conventions, certain stability. But we should not be, I like the word rigid, you know, build our personality, our ways were rigid, you know. So, yeah. Went back, grandma's in the property, right, Virginia. Well, you know, I changed my routine. And go to the John's, usually talk to John, you know. But I was poking fun, talking to grandma. Grandma, poking fun. The best corner. Why I do that? I like grandma for sure, you know. So everybody like grandma. But grandma is a newcomer in a certain setting, right? So not to their family, but to our community, right? So and I'm the only one outside her familiar person to feel belong to a great community. If I don't engage her, she will just literally say, "Oh, this is my family only. I don't, you know, this is not my community, right?" So she lost opportunity to really feel plugged in the community. And she did everything. She helped the people. She talked to people. She liked the people around, you know. So all day long, she just sacrificed herself. She was talking to me, said, "I'm sort of shook her yesterday, but she's still doing the help, you know." So why people do that? Because they want to help you feel part of what they're doing, we're doing, right? So now, sure, the other can interact with her, but I'm presumably leadership, right? So people look at me, how I respond to things, but I appreciate her or not, you know. So I make sure she's appreciated. So whether she understand that or understand that, it's not the point, right? So the effect is done through my action. I crack a joke, that's not what I really want to do, right? So surely it's a personal affection, personal things, but it's a greater purpose for me to even crack a jokes. That easy her out, so I care about her, share about her. I mean, wanted to appreciate her. Then I get it back. Whenever I saw her, I walk up to her to say hello. So. Well, that's my point. And she's wise beyond we can imagine. She's older lady. Through all her life. Don't she went through thousands of people in her life or not? She knows when a young man or not somebody really appreciated her, right? She knows what it look like. It's really the interaction matters or the hard posture matters there. You can see here. We play games. Yesterday we played games. I was making fun all the time. Make sure upset. Oh, shut up! Well, she was fun. But the point is that, let her feel belong, right? Let her feel comfortable. But I'm obligated to do it, not because I'm personally delighted to do it. For sure, I'm all for it. Okay, so, but I carry a bigger context, so that's what I try to say to you. So in your life, when you engage personal things or things, not have ultra agenda, right? Or calculation all the time, but really understand the bigger context. You're representing something greater than yourself. That's a princely education there. You represent something beyond yourself, greater than yourself. No, you do that wonderfully, especially in group settings. You leave those folks alone, but when something to be organized, you step in, right? So but there you go. That's a change in gear, right? To be a big brother, responsible one. And I hope that they evidently respect you, right? So I'm so happy to see. What now I think. They can help in group discussions. That's because you invest in them. Make sure that you really want to help there. So, Elijah, what do you think? We need to catch up on that, right? So, you didn't want to join with Benji. Why Benji is able to sit with us? Why then the parents feel relaxed and able to incorporate their life with us? Well, you play an intriguing, important role in that. Very important role. You can see the power of for you just have fun with a friend, right? So, but then they see you, then Benji see you, then Benji feel the ones around her. That's bridging power, the power of bridging relationships. That's how it works. Is there something wrong with this? Anybody calculated? What's wrong? To be a little bit expectant and purposeful with good things, constructive things, helpful things in life. When we don't do that, it's a sensitive person, right? It's a drifter. So this is my point, so but we don't necessarily do that. So I want you to pray now. So. My point is you guys doing very well. Continue the good things, right? Don't let this popular culture, what they think you are, or how you carry yourself, to change you. Okay, you all have negative personality. Don't let them rob you what you need to be. Okay, so making sense to you, So making sense to you, yeah. There are people never happy with themselves, with the world. Should you continue caring? I never can never be happy. Sorry, the world is on me something all the time. No, okay. Sorry, buddy. That's weird. That's your world. That's not my world, So I'm not challenge you or belittle you, but I will say I'm blessed to have life in the world. I'm blessed with new things. I'm not always happy, but I'm blessed to have a life, So go ahead.
Yes, Lord. I thank you for, Lord, these teachings. Lord, I pray that we, Lord, especially me and Noah in this time, as we learn on these very teachings, Lord, with Emmanuel, would grow, Lord, as princes, Lord, but Lord, not as the world usually sees a prince to be, Lord, as a prideful person, Lord, but we would grow as true, with a mindset of to be a true leader, Lord. Lord, one that imparts a way of life, Lord, but first learns it. So, Lord, I pray that we would learn this true way of life, Lord, this culture. Lord, that we would impart it to others, Lord. Lord, I pray that we would just grow in your love and your way. Lord, I pray that we would continue to have a true desire to learn, Lord, and that we would grow in this together, Lord, and learn from each other, Lord, learn from you. So I pray this in your name.
Amen. Amen. No one turn around to bless you. 而且是 excelling. But anything is not good with your driver lesson, you need to catch up, okay? So, teach me rules. Get your education together, right? So, okay.
I do pray for Elijah's life. Lord, I do thank you for the work that you have done and are doing within his heart and mind, and the way that he engages in life, Lord, and with others. Lord, the way that he organizes, Lord, his inner man and his, Lord, engagements in life. I do pray that he would continue to advance, Lord, in those things. Lord, that he would learn from the lessons of life with a full and even joyful heart. Lord, that he would thank you for all things that you have brought unto him, or relationships, or in circumstances and otherwise, Father. Lord, that he would give you glory in all things. He would seek to learn, Lord, and apply in life your wisdom and discernment, and that it would not form into, Lord, an insignificant practice merely, but something that, Lord, shapes who he is, Lord, as he is led by you, and Lord, taught by others, instructed by others in, Lord, what is the proper way, or what is the way of your culture and your house. And I pray this for his life in Jesus' name. Amen.
Thank you guys for the time. I hope you're happy with me.